So today I'm going to go over wheel cleaning. You'll see that I highlight a lot of Griot's garage products. I like their stuff. They have a great 180-day money-back guarantee, excellent customer service. The products seem to work really well. For the most part, I use their products exclusively, but there are a couple products or instances where I'll use other products. So today, to clean the wheels, first you need a bucket. You can get that from anywhere. Griot's Garage has a deep wheel brush. It's useful for getting inside the back parts of the wheel. They have a sheepskin or sheep's wool 4-finger mitt that's great for cleaning the spokes of the wheels. This is a new product. It's a lug nut brush. Works great for getting inside all the lug nut areas. You can use some car wash soap. You can use whatever you have. It doesn't really matter. They have a wheel cleaner, which is kind of general purpose light duty wheel cleaner. This is a new product. It's their heavy duty wheel cleaner. You spray it on, you let it sit, it works its magic, and it bonds with the metal and the brake dust. Changes color and smells wonderful. For really heavy duty applications where there's really stubborn brake dust, I have two secret weapons. One is the P21S gel. This stuff you can let sit for ever if you want. It doesn't damage the wheels. It's safe for all surfaces, and it's a miracle product. A couple days ago I had some brake dust that was not coming off. I tried WD-40, I tried clay, tar remover, nothing came off. I left this on for 3 days. I came back, was able to scrape it off my fingernail. Works amazingly well. This I'd call Big Bertha. If you don't want to spend the money on this product, you can buy this S100. I believe it's actually made from the same vendor. You can find this at a Harley-Davidson store. It's about $8. This is about $20. This works really well, not as well as this does, but if you do have some stubborn brake dust that you want to get off, you can try this first. Otherwise, you can just resort to this. Okay, so first step is just putting a little bit of car wash into a bucket. Put some water in there. Don't have to fill it up too much. Don't need to waste too much water. And submerge your lambskin finger mitt thingy in there. I like to put this in there, get that wet. That's what she said. Put that in there. Get it all wet. And for these wheels that I have here, I'm probably going to start. I'm going to showcase, at least on this side, the heavy-duty wheel cleaner. For the back wheel, I might use the lighter-duty one. But essentially, just spray it on. I have the foam applicator on here. Makes a mess. Starts to smell wonderful. And I don't know if you can see, but on the rotor already, it's already changing color. And now I'll just let it sit and come back in a few moments and clean it. So now it looks like my wheels are bleeding. They're not. Next I'm going to take my mitt here, and the soap here is actually enough to be able to get everything else lubricated. Just start rubbing away, and quickly you'll see that everything is coming off. I usually start from the top because that's where all the suds are. And by the time it works its way down to the bottom, everything else is all sudsy. I don't know why I keep saying Just work your way in, and after a few moments you'll see there's some great suds that come up from working this in. Now mind you, I have a water softener on my hose, so generally the hard water deposits, the hard water the soft water rather, helps create more foam and more suds, whereas the harder water will impede the ability of the soap to generate lots of suds. So your mileage may vary is what I'm getting at. And after a certain point, I'm just going to use my hand to get behind each of the spokes. Back here is a dirty spot. And then there are a couple times a year I actually take the wheels off and do everything. I'll wax the wheel, I'll clay the wheel. Sounds kind of obsessive, but If you want to keep the car and everything in great shape, it's the price you got to pay. Or I guess you can pay somebody else, but where's the fun in that? I'll also try to wash where the wheel is and where the spoke meet, because it's kind of hard to grab that when I use the wheel cleaner, the brush, the long brush, later on. Might even use my finger a little bit, just a couple times, to get spots that I might have missed. And make sure I got everything. Next I'll grab my lug nut brush. Couple turns. I don't think this needs really directions or instructions, pretty obvious. Next, a long brush. Get in there. And if you miss a spot, obviously go back and redo it. And you'll see, obviously, the front wheels tend to be dirtier than the rear. Missed the spot. Oh, there's a bug. I don't know how that got there. This is after a 600-mile road trip to Boston and New York City traffic. Not too bad, but not that great either. And I'm just going to give it another whirl because there's some spots that I missed. Generally, it's these spots under here that you can't see that you find that you'll miss, and it'll require another run. If you find that you have baked on, if you had hard specks of brake dust that don't want to seem to come off, you really can't see it with the camera, but there's a couple of spots here. You might want to use the P21S gel. Let it sit there after you wash the wheels, or when it's dirty. Let it sit there, let it cling. The longer it's there, the better it is. You can even come back and reapply it a couple of times later on, and it really works wonders. So now I'm going to use my hose. I have I bought this from Home Depot. It's a Goodyear product, but there are other manufacturers that make this. That might be labeled as the ultimate hose accessory. It's rubber, so you don't have to worry about it hitting your car and leaving a mark on versus the metal attachments. It's worked great over the years. It saved my bacon a couple of times. I use a little bit of water, try to conserve as much as I can. All the Griot products are non-toxic. They're biodegradable. They're environmentally safe. At least they're labeled that way. And then I'll rinse everything down. Let's do a finger test. Fairly clean. I missed a spot over there. Now that the wheel's clean, I'm going to use the rubber cleaner, and I'm going to apply that the tire itself. Got a brush, got to wet it, put some on there, and agitate. This may require you to, obviously rinse off again. You might dirty up the rim again, but generally I find this order works fairly well. Just careful not to rip the paint. And I'll rinse the brush off, and of course the wheel. Nice thing about having a water softener is you can let the water air dry on the surface, and because there's little to no hard water or minerals, when it dries it leaves virtually no spots. Works great. Great clean. I wouldn't eat off of it, but could, I guess. So this is the final product. If you look behind the spokes, you can see that the back part of the wheel is actually pretty freaking clean. Now that one spot right there, that black spot, I might use some tar removal, bug tar removal. That will take it off. And some of the other black specks, the camera might not be able to pick up. The P2001S I'll use another time to get rid of it, or maybe I'll wait until there's more deposits. But other than that, the wheel's looking great. And now I'll move on to the other parts.